Hello and welcome. We must educate our people about this Akpabio and Natasha situation because the whole thing is turning into a government and the people fight. The people in government are taking a position, especially Akpabio, feeling like he's being demonized or wrongly accused. I want to even state at this point that nobody has said that he is guilty of the allegations against him until proven otherwise. Nobody is saying he's guilty of the allegations until any competent, independent probe proves that he is. So they have made it look like he is the victim. And they also launched a campaign of trying to make it look like Natasha only evoked the sexual harassment claims because she had seen that her actions would land her into trouble. In their words, that women weaponize sexual claims. Women weaponize the claim of sexual harassment because they feel it will go in their favor. And this is why I am saying that we must educate our people so that at no point will you start feeling like we are witch hunting anybody. We must educate our people. What are the allegations against Senator Akpabio? 1, sexual harassment. 2, abuse of office or abuse of power. 3, hindering the said senator, Natasha in this case, from undertaking her constitutional duty as a representative of her people using his office. Now, how will all these 3 claims come together? First, anybody saying that this is a behavior of invoking the feminine power or advantage of sexual accusation should think again. I have always said that something rather, cannot be built on nothing. That day, if we can play back the scenario in the house, it was an outburst from Natasha. And I don't think that she had planned to frame up Mr. Senate President when she said, I've had enough, in due time I will talk, enough is enough, I have taken enough from you, I'm not afraid of you. Those outbursts are things you say when there is a fire under a pot and that pot starts boiling. It is consistent. What they call misconduct is consistent with the behaviors of someone who is being sexually harassed. It is important to say that the people now left the crop of the matter, the important stuff, to chase shadows because they want to suppress that accusation, minimize it, make it of non-effect. Every man in the Senate feels it's something we should not be talking about. It's something no woman should open her mouth. Why? Because where we come from, where we live, who we are as Africans, we have been raised to feel ashamed when somebody accosts us without our agreement or consent over sexual matters. You should not be afraid or ashamed of your sexuality. That is who you are, part of you. Just like the way you breathe, the way you drink water, the way you feel every other thing is the way your body is when it comes to the way your sexuality is, I mean. So, but the culture of silence and suppression makes you demonize the main victim. So, they now play the victim and demonize the person who spoke up. So that it is a serious problem that the Senate cannot feel like the member just reacted. All of them are actually saying that it is impossible for Senator Natasha to slight the president of the Senate like that. They saw it as massive disrespect. But these are things that happen when somebody begins to stoop so low, bring down himself to the point of asking somebody for sexual favors. I'm not saying he has done it. the truth of the person alleging is her truth. I'm not saying she said a lie either. But I'm just saying that when you get to that point, when you see somebody as a sexual mate, somebody you can condescend to frolic with, or somebody you can also come to that level where you have that kind of mutual agreement, or to come and put yourselves together, you become mates, you become levels. You don't have to start claiming seniority, respect at that level, because you are now at the person's level. And even if it's a child that you make advances at, the child sees you to be at his or her level and starts handling you, reacting to you, treating you at that same level, because you have brought yourself to that person's level. So when people start slighting those who harass them sexually, is a sign. So that is why I say that Natasha's outburst cannot be handled in isolation if they actually want to be true to themselves and get something out of this matter. Now, how do we expect them? What did we expect of them? Why are we so angry at the Senate? I'm doing this so that our people will understand, because their campaign seems to be yielding some results. The campaign is to demonize the complainer. The campaign is to minimize her claims. The campaign is to throw it away. The campaign is to make the Senate president look like the victim. And the campaign is to make him remain in office. Now, we are also not saying he should leave when he has not been proven to be guilty. We are saying Akpabio should leave because of the incompetence the Senate showed on handling this matter. When people elect you to positions of power and make you their representative, they mean that every of my situation, every of my matter, you will attend to it. You will see to it that I'm a whole citizen. I'm a happy citizen. So when I bring complaints to you, don't throw it away. They have also said that Natasha does not have the right to submit her own reports, her own claims, her own petition, which I see as total false. That is not a legislative matter. It's the rule of the Senate which they have put for themselves. Because there are so many things in that their rule that I see as authoritarian and should be changed. And not just authoritarian, not progressive at all, not something that will yield results for any country that wants to go forward. The whole rules were made for themselves and by themselves. And you see that same rule that says that until you are given a seat by a Senate president, you cannot sit. And look at the sitting arrangement. The ruling party will be in front. Then the opposition party follows them. Any other person they deem fit, you can stay any other place. And in that arrangement will also determine how you are attended to, how you are treated, how your petitions are taken, or your bills are taken. We should not be. Every district is represented by a senator. That senator is to be pushing the matters of his people. And I have said it that there should not be any portion of the Senate where nobody will be able to speak or will be able to be seen. So if they are serious this time, they are expected to start effecting these changes that this whole matter has raised. Now, the rule also that you cannot you cannot submit your own petition. What? You are a member of your constituency, even if you are the leader. As at the time they made those laws, it was expected that it's the constituents that will meet their senators to submit petitions on their behalf. But if situation has made you the complainant, your name on it, as they said, but you can't submit it for what? I think that rule should change. And now somebody asked me, how could you have handled this matter if you were the Senate president, so that it will be seen that you have done the right thing? First, it is expected. I told him the first thing is that you recuse yourself from the case. Why? Not because you're guilty. But for them, they feel that it's not even necessary for me to leave because the accusation is baseless. What? You cannot be your own judge. The Senate as a whole cannot say that whatever petition that is brought before it is baseless. No matter how foolish any matter is, we used to say that matters don't die young. They don't die from the stomach. Like you don't jettison an issue, you will look at it. So you recuse yourself, as in move away from being the person handling your matter. So as the Senate president, why do you have an assistant? It is such that at times like this, your assistant can help, can take over. So one, he should have recused himself, as in come down for the deputy to take over. And now, because this matter raised a national concern, an uproar, the Senate should have made a statement to the public. And what should be the tone of that statement? Not all the things we saw them do. Going to national television to defend somebody that has been accused of sexual harassment as the basis for the treatment the accuser got in their chamber, the Senate chamber. So they so absorbed their person that they said, forget about it. So it depends on who brings the allegation and who the allegation is about, that the Senate will look into matters. It doesn't make sense. There is a concern raised, and you say it's dead on arrival. So they all, one by one, went to defend the person, to say, we will not even entertain this matter. And for the Senate president to have come to sit, continuing the programs of the Senate, show that he wasn't in his program to handle that matter. It wasn't in the program of the Senate to handle that matter. They threw it away. So what's the tone of the statement they should have made to Nigerians? I wrote something down and I will read it to you. What kind of statement should they have given to the public? First, I said, one, the Senate president should have stepped aside and his deputy handling the Senate matters at this point. Not because you have been proven guilty, but because you cannot be a judge in your own matter. Something is about you and you are the one deciding and handling it. Then, secondly, I said they should have made a statement to the Nigerian people. What is the statement? I wrote it down. It likely, something that looks like, it might not be exactly like this, but it looks like this. The Senate is looking into the allegations. We have instituted a, let's say, 7-man panel to ensure that the weight of the matter is established and appropriate actions taken. We will not leave any stone unturned in answering the questions of the Nigerian people, while ensuring highest ethics and standards from our members. Do I need to read this message again? There's what we call leadership. There's what we call leadership. But the way our country is running now, the way our Senate is running like they don't care. Like, who are those people there? If you remember, there was a time in that house that Senator Kingibe raised a concern, a bill to assist Abuja market people whose shops have been burnt down by fire to rebuild and give them the shops at a subsidized rate, because there was a plan to throw them away, because that's exactly what happens. When these markets burn, they now lock it up permanently, throw away the people that were original occupants of that place, and before you know it, they rebuild it and give it to their cronies at exorbitant prices. The prices will even be much more difficult for Nigerians to be able to go back, meaning that these people are not planning for it. They don't understand government. And when that bill was raised, Akpabio said something like, how can we use government money? How can government money be used to rebuild markets? You know, when these people ask, they show a lot of ignorance. So this same senator involved now, Senator Natasha, asked the question, say, who are the people at the government? They are using their money. You know? So there are many actions they have put up to show you that they don't even know their ties with the people. So even though they are saying the people sent us, when they get there, what they see is themselves as lords in their own kedda, in their own strata in the society, and learn from what the people are feeling and from what the situation is. So they didn't deem it fit to speak to Nigerians about it in terms of an official statement coming from the Senate. They just went on campaign to demonize this woman. Look at all their statements, as if you are with the person. So for all the moments the accuser have lived, they have always been with him. They have always been on his phone calls. They have, what? All the people that have, it's just like asking a man when he slept with his wife in the same house where everybody lives. And you just notice that the stomach is growing. So it's, sometimes I get so pissed off that I want to make certain comments, but I don't want to appear like I want to insult people. We are passionate about our country, not like we want to insult them. They don't understand their work. That is what happens when incompetent people takes over government, people who are not qualified for the job. And it's so disheartening that the set of people whom the Nigerian provisions have given much power for leadership are people who are not equipped for the job. And why I'm talking today is because I have noticed that Akpabio lacks the skill set, the skills for the position he's occupying. And that's one of the reasons we are saying he should go. Not because we hate him or we don't want his good. We discovered that he doesn't have the skill for the job the position he's occupying, the job he is doing. In every time he opens his mouth, you will see glaringly his incompetence. What is incompetence? When we say it, people think it is a term to demonize politicians. It's a lie. It's a term that means that somebody hasn't acquired the required skill set for the job he is doing. So it doesn't make the person a demon. It's just that you don't have the expertise for the job you are doing. So that is why they don't know the steps to take. And that is why we are calling for them to leave the job. If you don't know what to do, leave the job. So, and right in the midst of this same matter, he opened his mouth to sexualize other women on a Women's Day, International Women's Day. Imagine the statement he made when it's played on other world stages. You all have worked with me. Have I harassed you sexually? Are you not? Does it mean that you are not attractive? I want to remember his exact statement. And the way we used to say it, they talk the one you do, they do more. The same man opened his mouth to say we are not in the club. The same man, during the time Nigerians were protesting for something that was biting, seriously, he said, we will be here and we will be enjoying. Leave them. Those that want to do protest should go and do protest. We will be here enjoying. What do you expect? What do you expect when the people shout, leave the job? Because you don't understand the role you play. You don't. So first I said he's expected to first step aside. And the deputy starts handling the matter. Do you know that if it was his deputy that read all those their prison sentence on Natasha, that they wouldn't have gotten the level of backlash they got? Because at least it will give the appearance of seriousness and non-bias. So, but he didn't. The second thing I say he should have done is the Senate as a whole should have done, the leadership of the Senate should have done, is to make a statement to Nigerians. And I'm showing you a little bit of the model of what the message should look like. And I'm going to discuss the message. I said, the Senate is looking into the allegations. We have instituted, meaning that they should have actually instituted a panel. They call their own the ethics and privileges and committee, which at this point, I personally passed a vote of no confidence in. So, that's why I said they should institute a fresh committee. So, let's assume they have put up people to handle it. We'll now say, the Senate is looking into the allegations. We have instituted a 7-man panel to ensure that the weight of the matter is established. An appropriate action taken. We will not leave any stone unturned in answering the questions of the Nigerian people while ensuring the highest ethics and standards from our members. Now look at this statement. This statement did not conclude. It did not indict. It did not condemn or absolve any of the parties involved. Rather, it gave room for unbiased and broader assessment or investigation of this matter, knowing full well that the accused can either be innocent or uncultured or unethical or totally guilty, and that the accuser also might be wrong or right, in which case the panel will decide the next line of action. What does that mean? That if actually they are looking into this matter, this statement is a broad statement to Nigerians, and it didn't indict the accused, neither did it absolve the accuser. So it's an open-ended statement showing that these people are our two members, and we will ensure high standards and ethics from them. Meaning that, well, we are going to look into the matter and we will judge them based on the set of rules and standards we expect of them, not the Senate. The Nigerian people expect of them. So, and it also means that if any party is found to be liable or guilty, appropriate action will be taken. If the accuser is taking advantage of the accused, it will still show in their investigation. Then if it is the accused is actually guilty, it will still show in the process of the investigation. And now they have made a statement to the Nigerian people. So, where it is ethical, these are my submissions. I wrote them down so I don't forget them. Where it is ethical, you are either queried as a first-time offender, when you are fully aware of the requirements of the rules you flouted and punished, rather treated in line, when you are fully aware of the requirements of the rule you flouted and punished, or rather treated in line with house rules, if not a first-timer. If it it is total ignorance, you'll be trained in case of total ignorance. If it is trauma related, you'll be rehabilitated. Okay. And if it is criminal, you are judged based on existing laws regarding the issue. Now, at this stage, the matter is referred to the courts. When you set up a panel and they discover, say, you flouted a rule, what they are going to do is, if you're a first-time offender, they will query you. If you are not a first-time offender, they will treat you according to the rules, according to the house rules, because every house has its rules. And then, if it is trauma-related, like in this case, it's trauma-related, somebody is busting, showing an outburst due to something that is happening behind the scenes. And the behavior shows that it's now getting to me. So the person is traumatized. But because we don't really pay attention to, we don't understand what trauma is. When we say trauma, it will look like one big, trauma is in levels. Trauma is in levels. So when we say trauma, people feel the person has been broken, damaged. Do you know that in the West, if children are playing and one child pushes another one and that one falls on the ground, starts crying, you see adults around, rush that child and start talking to the child and doing certain things to return the person's psyche. Because they feel that anything that makes you worked up triggers certain things in you, which we call trauma. So, in this, and then that, I gave that example because trauma is in levels. It's in levels. So, depends on the incident and experience. So, in this case, which it's a trauma, you are rehabilitated. And when we talk about rehabilitation, people also think that, oh, they are mad, something has happened. We actually have a problem. I am interested in this matter because I see that these things are bringing up societal issues, and that is how societies change. This is a defining moment for our country. But those who should be noticing, who should be taking action, who should be gatekeepers, our politicians, are not noticing that our society is being shaped now. This is how the ones you run to, this is how they develop. They look at issues arising, the problems it created, and create solutions around that. Will we create solutions with what we are having now? Nigeria is at a defining moment that if its leadership is serious, it should take advantage of this moment and make certain reforms that will be effective with time, stand the test of time. So, if it is trauma, the person is rehabilitated. Like, that is when they will now start saying, okay, what do we do to make sure that she's whole now and starts biting or snapping at everything that comes to her in the Senate. Let me continue analyzing my statement. I said, if it's criminal, you are judged based on existing laws. If it is ignorance, you are trained. They do training. That is when they will start doing orientation again. You're either sent to, and that's why we have to have, the Senate doesn't have to do everything for themselves and by themselves. They should outsource. They have to have sister agencies, not necessarily government. It can be private partnership that helps them manage situations like this, where they send you to for rehab, for orientation, for whatever that is the need, so that you function effectively. Okay. And I see if it's criminal. If it's been found that you actually did something and it's criminal, that's when they refer you to court. So in this case, if they carried out the investigation and they discover that Natasha is actually accusing this man wrongly, they will sue her. They will send her to the courts. They will bring the court in. And if they find out that Akpabio is also at fault, they will also send him. The court will come in and he'll be treated according to the existing laws on that matter, according to the laws guiding sexual harassment. And the other person, if he's wrong, according to the laws guiding libel, defamation of character, and falsehood or false accusations, or any other matter they can build around it. But if there are no existing laws, they will look at related laws and amend them. That's if there are laws that are actually on this, but doesn't capture the exact happening, they can amend those laws. But if there is totally no law, they enact new ones. That is when they start passing a bill to put so laws. So, the prerogative of the court to hand down punishments based on the criminal offense. I said all these will take patience. All these will take patience and maybe some time in the bid to ensure no one is unfairly treated. Remember, in their statement, in the sample statement we are treating, Nigerians have been promised that no stone will be left unturned. And they're also ensuring that no one is unfairly treated. Both parties are in the investigation and none is immune to the provisions of the probe. The problem areas, actions taken, expected outcomes and timelines, budgets, actual results are constantly communicated to the Nigerian people until the problem is solved. I don't know if you understand what I mean. As they release a statement to Nigerians, institute the panel to look into it, then they will now update Nigerians with the actions taken. The expected outcomes of those actions, because when you are taking action, you are expecting that it will yield this result. So the expected outcome, you communicate it. The timelines, as in how long you expect the investigation to run. We give you 2 weeks to come up with this. Then the budgets. What budget? What do you think that this whole process will take us? Bringing the people, paying those panel members, the refreshments, everything, the court case and everything, because it's government matter. And all unforeseen contingent, everything should be in the budget. The actual results. Now, what are the actual results? When you set out to achieve something, most times you don't achieve exactly what you planned. The expectations don't come 100%. Are not achieved 100%. So you will communicate the actual results you got. We set out to achieve this, but this is what we achieved. So the actual results are constantly communicated to the Nigerian people until the problem is solved. And in moving forward, the agency now reviews its rules based on cause, effects, costs, and outcomes, and even the timeline, with a view to solving an organizational, which is the Senate problem, and by extension, societal problem. Sorry, I was in a bus when these things were going through my mind. I decided to pen them down so that I don't forget it. That's why I'm reading it to you. So when they make their findings, when they conclude their investigations, they now review their rules based on the results they've gotten. What caused the outburst, change of seats? Why would a change of seat cause a problem? 1, it's possible nobody is seen from that seat. 2, it's possible, look at all the possible reasons why change of seats in a Nigerian Senate should cause trouble, because it's not the first time. Even Akpabio has been affected. Madam Tinubu that came out to talk rubbish has been affected before. So why would they change of seat cause? That's the problem. That is when, with the outcome of the investigation, they will now start looking at changes that can be made. I said, in moving forward, the agency will now review its rules based on the cause of that problem, as they saw in the investigation. The effects, that's what the problem costs. Like the one we are seeing now, the drama we are in. The costs, what they spent in solving the problem, and how it can be forestalled. Then, outcomes and timelines, with a view to solving organizational problems, with a view to solving their own problem in the Senate, to make sure that these things don't come out again. But in their own eyes, they feel it's by demonizing somebody and by dismissing the person that the problem will be solved. The problem hasn't been solved. It will keep rearing its head until you fix those things that lead to these problems. Okay, and you know that when they solve that organizational problem, by extension, societal problems have been solved. A system and people are now renewed like this. They stay healthy. That's how systems and people stay healthy, because they review themselves based on the problems that come up from their original program and plans, and they effect changes as is necessary. Now, the concluding part that will interest you. I said agencies of government budget for these things, but they will tell you there is nothing to do with the money because they are eager to share it than support areas of development. What does that mean? Every agency of government makes budget for their running costs. Those running costs are to fix things like this. But like they told us in that committee of local content, there is nothing to do. And every committee will say there is nothing to do, and they share the money. There is no way you will say that in government there is nothing to do. There is no way. You cannot see any problem in government. Every minute per second, issues are coming up, and government is expected to be solving them. A competent leader or competent set of leaders are able to spot areas of development, even if an ordinary eye can't see them. That is what leadership is. And they are willing to pay the price to ensure that those changes are effected. And this is the problem of our sister in the Senate. She's young and vibrant. She has a digital mind. She now found herself in the midst of people who feel threatened by her poise, by her outgoingness, if there's that word. And that outgoingness is to get problems solved. Most of us that are like that will face that problem, because for me, anywhere I go, I see things that can be changed. I see things that can be solved. But people who are at ease in Zion will feel like, oh, she has come again. She's spoiling things for us. So they either beef you or whatever. Now, the more you expect improvements and changes from Akpabio, the more he fails, because nobody gives what they don't have. In addressing women today, he's asking them if he has sexually harassed them and if it means that they are not attractive. These are my thoughts. Let me keep my phone and talk again. The more we hold this man to a certain expectation, the more he fails, because you cannot give what you don't have. And that is why we're saying resign. Not because we say you have slept with anybody's wife. Resign, because the seat is too big for you. The seat is too hot for you. You can't handle it. And moving forward, I expect the Senate, instead of this show of shame, this macabre dance that they are dancing according to, what's the name of that Edo State senator that used to give us grammar? I forgot his name. That used to give us grammar. I say it's a macabre dance. This macabre dance that they are dancing, they can stop it and they can solve the problem. How? Stop throwing this part of offensiveness towards your member. Stop seeing it that she has done the unthinkable. And I said before in my previous video that as far as we know, she's still a member of the Senate, because that her issue has not been handled. There's no locus for dismissing her. Until her issue is handled and investigations done as I have outlined them, you cannot dismiss her. So they should bring her back. So they should recall her. Bring her back to the Senate. And you see that paper you people are reading as punishment, fold it in front of Nigerian people and tell them, we have thrown it away. Trash it. And bring this matter back. Form a panel. At this point, it has to be an independent investigation that will look into these matters. And I suggest an out-of-court settlement, because there is no need for the brawl. Look at it. Solve this problem. Make a statement to the Nigerian people. Tell them the actions you're taking. Solve the problems that arise in the Senate. Then let there be a new set of rules that will help both the Senate and the society. We are at a defining moment in our nationhood. And if the Senate is not seeing this as an opportunity for improvement, and are seeing it as a combat with their combative behavior, the problem will not be solved. And Nigerians will keep talking. So by the time they take proper actions, they will wash their image. There's no need looking for... Respect is earned. It's not commanded with words. You command it with action. You earn it. So, our Senate, we cannot pamper it. We cannot even tell you people that you are the best Senate in the world. We love our country. And Akpabio, at this time, we want to reassure you that we love you as a human being. But we don't like you as a Senate president because you're not competent. But as a human being, we love you. We understand the trauma you might be going through now also. So we are reassuring you. But we expect you to do the right things. And women organizations, CSOs, agencies, and every human being that feel like human dignity is something you value, rise up and speak for the good of our country. Government, stop positioning yourself against the people. You cannot go far with it. And to all my subscribers that have come recently, you're highly welcome. I appreciate you. I saw all of you. My old subscribers and returning subscribers, thank you. You're the reason we stay awake. This is 3 a.m. in the morning. As you see me, I'm dressed for work already. Because in editing this video or trying to do one or two things on it, it will be morning. And from there, I'll go to work. So you are the reason I stay awake. And my passion is to see a working Nigeria. Thank you for believing in me and my voice. Thank you. Please share this video. We need to educate our people. We need to let them know why we are asking these people to do the things we are asking them to do. It is not a tussle between government officials and Nigerians. That's the way they are painting it. Ciao and have a beautiful day.